after me, lost in doubt, trying to find a way out. These lies within, they hold me tight. In the dark, I lose my fight.
Chapter 2. Quiet Cracks. The door creaked open late into the night. Carla stepped into the dim light of her home, the wheels of her suitcase whispering against the hardwood floor. It felt quiet, too quiet. Not the kind of quiet that brings peace, but the kind that fills every shadow with tension. The soft rat-tat of gunfire echoed faintly from down the hall. He's gaming, she thought. Of course. She walked into David's room and saw him slouched on the couch, controller in hand, eyes glued to the screen. He didn't even look at her. Didn't move. Just a few more seconds of silence before he muttered, without turning,
"Glad you're back."
That was it. No hug, no smile, no warmth. Her chest tightened with a dull throb. What an asshole, she thought. If Charlie were here, I'd have had a hug the moment I walked in. And yet, even as she imagined Charlie's arms around her, something in her recoiled. If David tried to hug me now, I'd feel sick, disgusted, like I was lying with my whole body. She had texted Charlie on the way back from her out-of-state training where they'd met. Still no reply. He was probably still driving. Oklahoma to Virginia wasn't a short haul, but still, the silence nagged at her. Maybe he was ignoring her. Maybe she'd pushed too hard. She didn't say a word. She just turned around and walked out of the room. David watched her leave, his chest tightening. The sound of footsteps down the hallway felt like a countdown he couldn't stop. He set the controller down and followed.
"What do you want from me? You gave me the silent treatment most of your trip. And then when you did talk, you yelled. I don't even know if you want to be with me anymore. So if you want to leave, then leave."
His voice sounding slightly frustrated, though he didn't mean for it to. Carla spun on him, her eyes narrowed, sharp and furious.
"Back off. You can stop abusing me."
She snapped. David flinched like she had slapped him. Abusing her? Is that what this is now? His arms dropped to his sides as if the weight of those words had knocked the fight out of him. He closed his eyes, trying to slow the panic that now lived just under his ribs.
"You kept texting me. I was there till Vern. I had things to do. I get to your text when I have time."
I texted you once, the day after you got there, and then nothing for 3 days. I was worried. Carla, I didn't know if you were okay. I didn't even know if you were...
You called me names.
She barked, cutting him off.
I said you were acting childish, not answering. Not that you are childish. You're an adult. You can talk, right?
He hated how he sounded. Defensive, desperate, weak, like someone begging to be heard instead of just walking away. A thick silence stretched between them, heavy and ugly. David looked at the floor as though the right words might be hiding there, waiting for him to notice them. David finally spoke, voice low and tired.
You know, you promised I'd be able to come up to Norman. You said we'd spend the weekend together. That was just 2 months ago.
Carla didn't even look up from her phone.
Plans change. I had a friend come up instead.
David blinked slowly, trying to hold back the sting.
Yeah, I figured that out. It's obvious you didn't want me there.
You see me all the time. Let someone else have a turn.
He exhaled sharply, forcing his voice to stay calm.
I just wanted to spend time with you. Maybe talk about our trip. Dolphin Island, the beaches, something normal, something real.
She finally looked at him, but her expression was cold.
You always have to make things about you. I'm trying to enjoy myself. You don't get to guilt me for that.
David didn't answer right away. He just nodded slowly, more to himself than to her.
I hope he's everything you think he is.
Don't be dramatic.
She muttered, turning her attention back to her phone. David walked to the door and paused. He glanced back one last time, but Carla didn't even notice. He left without another word, the silence swallowing him whole. Carla left for her room. She watched her TV with glazed-over eyes and checking her phone every few minutes. Still no message from Charlie. No reassuring, "Miss you?" No, "Got home safe?" Nothing. The room felt colder by the hour. At some point, exhaustion finally pulled her under. The next morning, her first instinct was to check her phone. Still nothing from Charlie. Did I text too much? She wondered, biting her lip. Maybe I seemed desperate, needy. Then came the familiar shift, that slow slide back into blame. It's David. He always makes me anxious. That's why I kept checking my phone to see if Charlie messaged. That's why I pushed too hard. Only David had texted. She still had him on silence. Is there anything I can do to make this better? Then another later. No, probably not. I guess there was never anything I could have done. I just wish things had stayed like they were before. Remember that 3-hour drive? We laughed the whole way. And finally, all I could think was that you were cheating on me. Her fingers moved fast. I didn't cheat. I'm tired of you accusing me of that. By day 3 of no reply from Charlie, Carla's confidence wavered. The anger she'd carried like armor began to crack. She replayed her texts in her head. Had she come on too strong, sounded too eager? Maybe she wasn't as in control as she thought. Maybe Charlie had seen through her. By day 5, she started acting more like her old self with David, at least on the surface. The icy silence faded into lukewarm small talk. Her voice gentled. She asked him if he wanted coffee. She offered to order dinner. She even laughed once or twice. She brought out a small mason jar and held it up proudly.
I got this from a friend I met at the training. Strawberry moonshine, the best I've ever had.
She handed it to him, watching his reaction like she was measuring it. David took it and turned the jar slowly in his hands.
A friend?
Yeah, Charlie, we went out. Got a little drunk, nothing wild, just fun.
David tried to smile. His throat was tight. Why does she need to say it like that? Why does it feel like she's daring me to ask more? The timeline didn't make sense. Her stories felt rehearsed, like she was skipping chapters on purpose. But he didn't say a word. He didn't want to fight. Not again. So he nodded, let it go. Took the hug she gave him and held her like she hadn't slipped away. Like nothing had changed. When she told him, "I love you," he whispered it back and tried to mean it. And for a moment he believed it could still work. Maybe she had chosen him after all. But that night, as Carla laid alone in bed, her face aglow from her phone, she was still waiting for Charlie to text. Thoughts from a broken man. David had calmed down a lot since Carla started being kind again. The screaming had stopped. The cold silence thawed, but something still felt wrong. Off. Her affection returned in fragments, like she was tossing him crumbs to keep him barely alive. Still, he clung to hope. But his thoughts were always running, racing, looping. What more can I do? How do I fix this? He never found the answer. Every solution ended the same way, with her rejection, her irritation, or her shutting down. He wanted to ask her what was really wrong, but he already knew the look she'd give him. That flat, dismissive stare, the one that said, "You're the problem." He was getting tired of hearing, "I'm tired" or "I have a headache." Somehow, she had energy for everyone else, just never for him. He wondered quietly, is she even being honest about that? But he didn't ask. He didn't want the answer. Not if it came wrapped in more lies. He'd heard too many of those already.
I'm not alone, but I'm not seen. I'm here, but not enough. You kiss like it's a routine, not a refuge, not a trust. And I still stay like maybe love can change. But all it does is fade. No storm, no screaming, just space and breathing. Like we built a home inside a pause and dared to call it feeling. I'm not alone, but I'm not safe.